Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clarity 1593 Supportability Training. In this section, we're going to review the updates to Clarity Connections, which is the out-of-the-box configurable solution to integrate Clarity and Rally. As a reminder, the goal of this solution is to tie Clarity and Rally together. From a Clarity standpoint, you can start with Clarity business outcomes and import them into a roadmap as part of your day-to-day. The integration can use those business outcomes from an approved roadmap scenario perspective to create portfolio items in Rally. And then, based on both initial estimates of those items as well as delivery status, Rally can send that information back to Clarity for review or monitoring. This integration allows you to tie business decisions and their prioritization with delivery or execution information. This is how we visualize the relationship between the two solutions. We're going to continue to evolve this over time as people tell us what other information they'd like to see go through this round trip. So what's new with the integration? There are really four key capabilities to talk about today. First, this release includes the ability to either sync lookups and or map lookup values between Clarity and Rally lookups. Specifically, Rally project, investment category, state, and milestone lookups can be mapped. Second, the sync job has been updated to support bidirectional data changes. In other words, information updates can flow both ways depending on where the data changes are detected. Third, an additional staging table is in place to capture data moving from Clarity to Rally. In the last release, there was only a single staging table available to capture data moving from Rally to Clarity. So lastly, Clarity was updated so its investment name would support up to 256 characters, which now matches Rally portfolio item names. So why is this important? With the new lookup mapping capabilities, Clarity and Rally can share the same lookup values. In other words, the Rally project, investment category, state, and milestone can have the same lookup values, and therefore the two systems are always in sync. On the other hand, using an advanced lookup value mapping capability, administrators can map Clarity lookup values to Rally lookup values, providing additional data sync control. And next, the synchronization tools have been improved to detect field level changes in either system and then update Clarity or Rally accordingly. The additional staging table for Clarity information flowing to Rally provides operational insights and visibility into job status, and then that information is no longer suppressed in a log file, but it's readily available directly from the modern UX. Aligning that max character support count for Clarity investment name, whether it's for projects, ideas, or custom investments, and Rally portfolio item name really drives a smooth data flow. So what's changed? So in this release, the PMO Accelerator includes 4 dynamic query-based lookups. Specifically, they are, as I mentioned, the Rally projects, investment categories, states, and milestones. These are not preceded attributes, just the lookups. So you need to create a custom attribute that uses one of these seeded lookups. By using these lookups, data can be synced between the two systems without having to form a lookup value mapping. I'll demonstrate both of these. So once configured, those same lookup values are automatically available in Clarity and Rally. So let's use the example that's on the screen here. I've got a Clarity custom attribute that I've created, and I've named it Rally Team. When a Clarity user from within an investment selects the Rally Team pull down, they'll see the same list of values displayed to the Rally users. Conversely, so when the Clarity user selects that value, Acme Corporation, the Rally project value for the mapped object will be updated to the same value, of course, when the sync job runs. Conversely, on the other side, when a Rally user selects their project value of outside, it's another project, the Clarity value would be updated to that value as well. again, when the sync job runs. Well, what if you don't want to use the same exact rally values in Clarity? For example, Clarity's goal attribute already has its own set of lookup values, which is different from another lookup value in Rally. So in this case, the new lookup mapping capability allows you to map the Clarity lookup values to Rally lookup values for the chosen lookup. So consider the field mapping of the Clarity goal and its lookup values to the Rally investment category and its lookup values. They both have a unique set of values. In this example, when a Clarity user selects the goal of cost avoidance, the Rally investment category will be updated to cost savings. Using the example above, those are the map values for the Clarity to Rally direction. If we switch over and look at it from Rally to Clarity, should a Rally user select the investment category of strategic growth, the Clarity goal will be updated to grow the business. So those are the map values on the Rally to Clarity side. These are two different subtabs within the lookup mapping area. So this option allows you to translate data between the two systems. So the sync options haven't changed in this release. However, in the last release, the sync job only detected changes in the source system. You always had to define what the source was. So now the sync job logic has been enhanced to detect any differences between the two systems and update the data in either system to match. So this really provides a true bidirectional integration and improves system performance along the way. So if you recall, we had a value, a sync option called create. So when you use that with the Clarity to Rally direction, you would create new Rally portfolio items using Clarity information. When you use create and update with the Clarity to Rally direction, you would create new Rally portfolio items, but you would also supply updates when the changes occurred in Clarity. The update, that's a valid direction or a valid sync option for both Clarity to Rally, Rally to Clarity, and now there's a new option that's available, called both. The both option provides the ability to sync data for mapped objects when data changes are detected in either Rally or Clarity. So combining update with both, the sync data for mapped objects when data changes occur will basically change either system accordingly whenever changes occur. From a staging table perspective, previously there was only a staging table for inbound data coming from Rally to Clarity. So now there's a staging table to introduce data moving from Clarity to Rally as well. So this provides two key benefits. I mentioned one of them before, greater visibility to the administrator, seeing the data moving between the two systems. But it also is an opportunity to introduce new capabilities to transform the data prior to Clarity import or export. The last item that was changed here was we updated the investment name to support up to 256 characters, which matches the Rally portfolio item name character count. As part of that work, we also updated the roadmap item name, the portfolio investment name, and the task name to support 256 characters. You can see what they were before the change and now in 15.9.3. Okay, let's take a look at the demo. We're going to go through the lookup additions to the data type compatibility grid. We're going to, configure a field mapping using the both sync direction. We're going to take a look at the advanced lookup value mapping as well as the pre-mapped lookup mapping tools. We're going to run that sync job and look at the two Rally staging information, and then we'll look holistically at both the Clarity and Rally screens to analyze the data changes that are occurring based on our scenario. All right, so I'm going to exit out and bring up the system, bring up the demo. Okay. Great. So I'm on the project list view here. I'm going to go into administration, and we'll take a look at the three new capabilities here, starting with the ability to map clarity and lookup fields. So first, I'm going to go into Clarity Administration. You can see the beta tag has been removed. This thing is now officially GA. I'll click on integrations. You can see there's some existing integration mappings that we're going to come back to in a moment. But first, I want to start with the data type compatibility grid. And Viv, can you confirm that you see the entire browser? I see a little orange bar here, so just wanted to double check.
Yes.
No, I'm only seeing the Clarity browser.
Right. Okay.
The Clarity browser, yes.
Okay. Very good.
The full browser.
Okay. So I've gone into the data type compatibility grid. I want to draw your attention to the new extended data type information that's now available in the form of lookups. So that is new for this release. And just as a reminder, the data type compatibility grid is a read-only table to help administrators understand the supported data types and their respective sync directions. I also want to point out both, which is this new supported direction, indicates either system can serve as the source. Just as a refresher, Clarity Rally, this is where Clarity serves as the source. And down here you see Rally to Clarity, that's where Rally is the source. So before we leave this page, I want to draw your attention to the Rally data type column here, and specifically collection, object, and rating, which are in Rally terms lookups. These are new entries that essentially provide support for integrating Clarity with Rally projects, investment categories, state and milestone lookups. So that's in place now for this release. So let's go on and look at the field mappings and review how these lookups are mapped. So I'm going to click on integration mappings. I'm going to go to Clarity to Rally 1. Make this a little bit bigger. So I want to highlight the strategy row to bring up the field mapping page. I'm going to hit expand to give us a better view here. I want to draw your attention to the three mappings at the bottom of the page. You can see these are lookups. So I have Rally project right here, which is mapped to, I'm sorry, this is a Clarity field called Rally project mapped to the project field in Rally. When direction is set to both, and I'm using update as the sync option, if the project is changed from within Rally, an update with the new value will be sent to Clarity. And conversely, if the Rally project is changed from within Clarity, an update with the new value will be sent to Rally. So you get the theme here on update and both. You can also see the Agile state is hooked up to the Rally state field. So you guys know how we use state in terms of PI prep, PI commit, in dev, open beta, etc. So that's the state field there. So this has got the same behavior. It's got both and update, meaning that again, if either system changes, the sync job will push the latest value to either system. In a moment, I'll demonstrate how that sync job updates Clarity and Rally with these mappings. And I refer to these as kind of a pre-mapped lookup mapping where both Clarity and Rally share the same values. So before we move on, you can also see there's a Clarity field here called goal, which is mapped to the investment category, right? We use like RFE, tech debt, new feature, DevOps. Those are the investment category types that we use internally, right? So I want to show you how the integration support what I refer to as advanced lookup mapping. So I'm going to go ahead and close to return to that main mapping page, and I'm going to go up to the lookup mapping area. This is a new capability that allows the administrators to map one lookup value to another. So the first one I've got here, the left side says, what fields are you using here? So in this case, I'm using goal, and it's part of the custom investment type called strategy. And on the rally side, I've got the investment category at the theme level. So when I highlight that row, I'm going to get my two tabs over here. You see clarity to rally and rally to clarity. So these give me two distinct ways of mapping clarity values. You can see the left-hand side it defaults to all the values associated with goal and presents them here. And the right-hand side allows me as an administrator to map one value to another. So for example, if I'm in clarity and I pick cost avoidance, when the sync job runs from clarity to rally, rally will be updated. The investment category itself will be updated to cost savings. Also, if I pick cost reduction, clarity or rally will also be updated to cost savings. So you can pick the same values if you wish. Now, if I flip over to rally to clarity, I get kind of the similar behavior, but flipping it on its head. The left-hand side is all of the values from rally, and the right-hand side is editable. So in the case of strategic growth is selected in rally, clarity would be updated with grow the business. Right, so let's take a step back and review how this lookup mapping is created. There's an area here. I don't have a plus symbol here in this area. For performance reasons, we implemented something akin to, the create from blueprint feature, but I've got my new mapping, and here I go ahead and pick all of the available lookups, and in parentheses is their associated object that they're aligned with, like epic, which is a custom investment type, as you know, or project or value stream. So you see that. So I can pick I'll pick a value here. I'll pick department for OKR. And then on the rally side, I say, well, what drop down do you want to select from rally? And in this release, it's limited to the four lookups that we discussed: investment category, milestone, project, and state. And what's in parentheses next to that is the portfolio item that it is associated with. So I'll go ahead and pick, let's just pick investment category again for fun. I would name it, and then I would create the lookup. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to hit cancel out, but I'm going to take a look here at this one, work status to investment category. So I've already kind of selected work status at the strategy level, and investment category again at the theme, just to kind of walk through the behavior. So again, I've got my values on the clarity to rally side. On the left-hand side, here are all my values associated with work status. And on the right-hand side are all of the values associated with investment category. So I simply go through and map demand. If demand capture is selected on the clarity side, well, I want that to go to maintenance. If development is selected on the clarity side, I want that to go to cost savings as well, and so on. On the rally to clarity side, I would perform that same exercise. So cost savings is already mapped to demand capture. Maintenance would be mapped to development. So that's the way you would map those. Now, if you don't want to map them, you just leave it blank. You'll notice there is no value for none within the pull down here. In this release, we don't support none just yet. In this release, we don't support none because the system won't really know that you're purposely not trying to map a field versus you've actually selected the none value. So we're working on that for a future release. All right, so let's move on and see how we can use these fields in the lookup in the field mapping. So we talked about a strategy, and I'll click expand here one more time. You can see the goal field here is mapped to investment category, and I'm using update in both. So that's just putting the system in place to look for changes on either side and update each system accordingly. So while we're on the topic of lookup mapping, we just kind of covered off on the advanced lookup value mapping. Let's take a look at how we take advantage of some of the pre-mapped or pre-seeded lookups. So with that, I want to create a field called milestone. So I'm going to do this from scratch because it has all of the benefits of the demo downstream. So I'm going to look for strategies. I'm going to come in here. I need to create a new attribute, and I'm going to name it milestone. So bear with me. This is your standard studio behavior of creating a new attribute. And I'm going to map it to one of those pre-seeded lookup values that are in the PMO accelerator. So in this case, I'm using milestone, so I'm going to use a multi-valued lookup because that's exactly what the milestone is on the Rally side. So here I need to pick one of those pre-seeded lookups that are included that have the Rally information. So what I want to do, so here's my Rally pre-seeded lookups. I'm going to choose milestones and hit add, and then I need to put in place an attribute, an API attribute, of course. So I'm going to hit save. Now there's two more things that I need to do to finalize the mapping of this custom attribute to the selected Rally attribute. I'm going to type in object, and I'm going to look for integration mapping. And then here, I'm going to type in unique code. So I need to do this for each of those preceded lookups. So now I'm going to select save and keep the browser tab open. I'm going to come, so that's saved successfully. And I'm going to import that mapped information because now before I can do any more work in the field mapping area, I have to run the import mapped information job so that I can bring that newly created milestone into the system here. So I'm going to just go real quick to my jobs, and keyword here import, and I'm going to run the import mapping job. I'm going to pick a integration mapping that it's specific to. Got that, and I'm going to hit submit. So this is all capability that was introduced in the initial release of this last go around. I'm just going to go to the log here to make sure that that is completed, and you can see right over there it's done. Great. So I'm going to come back over and refresh my system here. And now what I want to do is come back to I'm back in my field mappings. I'm going to take that newly created milestone attribute and add it to this listing here. So I'm going to hit both. I'm going to select update, and the clarity field should be here called milestone. I want to hook that up to the Rally milestone field, and the data type, extended data type, those things are all populated automatically. So we've successfully added this milestone to the field mapping. So that's all good. So now let's make sure the clarity investments are properly linked to the integration mapping. So I'm going to take I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to come over to the, my investments. I'm going to look at strategies, and I've got my clarity connections view. As you can see, I've got 5 strategies here. First thing, you always want to make sure you have an integration mapping hooked up. So this tells the system, hey, use this field, use that mapping table that we were just on in regards to these particular elements. You can see the Rally object is already populated because the systems have already been communicating with each other. So that's an indicator that Rally has sent over its match and says, okay, you're hooked up. These 2 items are now hooked up to Rally. there's other things here are percent complete. It's really cool to see this light up. This is incoming information coming directly from Rally. The Agile state and the project are those pre-mapped fields we talked about, and the goal field is sitting here. It's already set. And this is the one that's mapped to that investment category. So one of the things that's missing here is the newly created milestone. So let's bring that in. I'll just position that guy right here. And I'll kind of select a value before we get things going. So I'm going to just kind of pick, these are the values that exist in Rally that have come over directly for a visibility in Clarity. It's a limited set, but I think you get the idea. I can actually do the drag handle and get a few things here, and I'll pick this one's for the trade show, and this one is for the 2.0 private beta. So that's an example. I can also, you know, if I wanted to, I could pick another value here. I can pick two values so you can see how the system treats it. It puts its other, concatenates it there into the single cell. So I've set the milestone. What I want to do is I want to update the project assignment here. I'm going to go ahead and change it from consumer site to platform. So these are the listing of all the Rally projects that are now available in Clarity. I'm going to go ahead and set those all to the same value. And the goal for purpose of the demo, I'm going to set those to maintain the business. And for purposes of our demo, I'm just going to set them all to the same value. Okay. So just as a reminder, having set the goal to maintain the business, we do expect the Rally investment category field to be updated to short-term growth after the sync job runs. All right, so that's the extent of configuration I wanted to do on this page. Take a visual snapshot because the next step is to run the sync job, and I do anticipate data changes coming in from Rally. But before we actually run the sync job, let's take a look at Rally. So I'm gone into our, you know, the Rally instance, and you can see that there are 5 strategies, just like there's 5, or sorry, these are themes that are associated with those 5 strategies in Clarity. You can see the themes are tracking, you know, execution details from their underlying features and stories, and updates will be synced with Clarity the next time the job runs. Note the current project assignments, right? It says consumer site. Over on the Clarity side, we just changed all that to platform. You'll notice here that there's some differences here with done and done as a state. And there aren't any milestones populated, right? We haven't run the sync job yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the sync job. Now remember, even with the new enhanced synchronization, if there's no changes in any given field, anytime the sync job runs, there's really going to be no updates. But we've intentionally put in place some updates here, and we should see those reflected after the sync job. So I'm going to go ahead and run that sync job. Synchronize mapped information. I've got to hook this up to Clarity to Rally 1. That's our integration mapping we're using. And I'm going to hit submit and run the job. So I'm going to kind of come over here and monitor this. It shouldn't take very long, actually. I've got my sync information job is run. There's one more job that runs automatically once this one is completed, and that's the import staging table job. I'll just kind of refresh here to see if we can get some progress reported to us on how that job's going. And that import staging table job has run now as well. So let's go back to Clarity first. I want to talk about the staging tables. I'm going to come over to Clarity. I haven't run refresh yet, so we haven't seen any of the changes yet. So hold your breath. But first thing I want to do is go into integrations and go into this integration mapping and look at to Rally. That's the new staging table that was set up to capture data going obviously from Clarity to Rally. So I'm going to bring in, I think we sent the goal over, we sent the team. I'm going to bring in some additional information here. I think that maybe there was an agile state that was changed. So basically this is capturing some of the data, and the goal was, here is the, oh, let me send, this was to Rally. Let me grab milestone as well. Milestone, put that in here. And so it captured the data going out. And the way it's presented here, you can see the ID and the value. Now, one of those, we did select two values, right? So we've got it separated here with this nomenclature so you can distinguish that there was actually two values there. So that successfully captured the expected information moving from Clarity to Rally. So let's go back to the applications and look at the final step here is to review the impact to the Clarity and Rally pages with their respective updates. So let's go to Rally. I'm going to refresh this page here. Notice the milestone column is blank. That's going to be our first indication of a successful integration. And the to Rally staging table actually captured it. So I'm going to expand this thing. You can actually see we got some data flowing. All that's good. Notice we selected platform for the project, and developing is still sitting there as the state. And the investment category, those were all updated, right? Now, I'm actually in the online store, but it's a child of the platform. The chosen project here is a child, so it kind of shows both of those. So here's essentially everything we were looking for. I was looking for one other change, but I didn't see it. But you see the behavior here of pushing items from Clarity to Rally. Now let's come back to our strategies in investments. I'll go to my strategies, and here we are. The one thing I was expecting, and I may have made a mistake myself, was looking for actually the percent complete change. That was 84%. That's all good. So that was a successful transition. All right, so we captured everything we wanted there, that we expected there. As you notice on the other side, the states were still set to developing, so the Agile state didn't change on the Clarity side. Well, that concludes the Clarity Connection section.